Let's start with Jon Jones firing back at Tom Aspinall. Cause y'all, it's getting tense. This past week, things got real between the two. First, Tom Aspinall went on Demetrius Johnson's podcast and had a lot to say. He spoke about wanting to fight Jon and shared how he feels left out of the heavyweight picture.
I've been almost a year inactive with no prospect of anything apart from weight.
Yeah.
So now is actually a little bit more of a tricky time for me mentally. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of difficult, like mentally, to this is the fight against Jon Jones. Like the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and I'm trying my best. I'm trying. It's tough.
What you said recently is that you don't care who you fight, you just want to fight. I just want to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I don't care if it's Jones, I don't care if it's Silk, I don't care who it is. It could be King Kong, it could be one gorilla.
Then Verdict MMA posted the clip on Instagram, and guess who saw it? Jon Jones himself. And Jon didn't hold back. He commented, "Shut your mouth and do as you're told." Ouch. But that's not all. There's a petition going around the internet asking the UFC to strip Jon Jones of his heavyweight title. Yup. That's a real thing. An Instagram user named Tony started the petition, and it already had over 24,000 signatures when this video was made. Jon saw it and responded by dropping a laughing emoji, but when Tony told Jon to sign the petition himself, Jon blocked him, straight up blocked. Paddy Pimblett versus Arman Tsarukyan coming soon? Now let's talk about Arman Tsarukyan. After pulling out of a title shot against Islam Makhachev due to a back injury, Dana White said Arman would have to earn his way back. So what did Arman do? In an interview with Red Corner MMA, he called out Paddy Pimblett. Yes, the Paddy, the baddie. Arman said if the UFC offers him a fight with Paddy in the summer or before the year ends, he's down.
He looked very good on his last fight, and now we can say he can be top 10 fighters. I don't know, so he's number 8 or something, and he's not gonna fight very soon. Maybe he wants to fight at the end of this year, but I wanna fight this summer and then at the end of this year. I'll take that because he has a big name.
The MMA community got hyped. Even Luke Thomas chimed in on social media, saying, "I can't believe how much I like this idea." But Arman isn't the only lightweight who wants a piece of Paddy. Mateusz Gamrot also threw shade at Pimblett. Ahead of his fight with Ludovic Klein, Gamrot went off during his chat with Ariel Helwani. "I don't like this guy. He talks too much. He's arrogant. From England. He said things about me before. I'd love to meet him in the octagon. His rise was too easy. Give him a real opponent. I don't think he wins. I'm from Europe. He's from Europe. Let's go." So many contenders want Paddy, but will the UFC give the fans what they want? Charles Oliveira fires back at his critics. Charles Oliveira isn't holding back anymore. Remember when Justin Gaethje called him a quitter before UFC 274? Charles destroyed him in round 1, but people still question his toughness. And ahead of his next fight with Ilia Topuria, Charles spoke out during an interview with Full Violence. He said, "I've been doing this for 15 years. I hear these guys say I give up, that I'm going to lose, that they'll knock me out. But when we fight, they do nothing." He's staying respectful toward Topuria for now, but Charles vowed to finish El Matador and take his title back. Volkanovski versus Movsar Evloev isn't happening, yet Alexander Volkanovski wanted to face Movsar Evloev after beating Diego Lopez, hoping to be the first to take Evloev's undefeated record. But now, that fight isn't happening anytime soon. Evloev went to social media and hinted he already has another opponent set for July. He wrote, "If you're a UFC fighter and believe you're the best, you take every fight they give you. No risk, no reward. See you in July, it's on Abu Dhabi." And then he posted a thank you note to Volk saying, "Thank you, champ, for trying to fight me. I'll fight in July, you fight in September. Hopefully we both win and meet in December." The UFC seems to be setting up Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez III for September. But a lot of fans are not feeling it. Damon Martin from MMA Fighting said Movsar deserves the shot. Yair is 1-2 in his last 3 fights, and one of those was getting knocked out by Volk in 3 rounds. Even featherweight contender Giga Chikadze suggested the Volk vs Yair rematch was on the table during a podcast this week. Meanwhile, Evloev versus Aaron Pico might go down in July as the co-main event in Abu Dhabi. Bloody elbows. Jaime said Maxa has agreed to a fine rounder. Nothing's official from the UFC, but this fight could be fire. Chael Sonnen versus Islam Makhachev war of words. Let's move to some trash talk, because Chael Sonnen and Islam Makhachev are throwing haymakers online. Chael recently called out Islam for planning to vacate the lightweight belt and move to 170. He said it's not very champ-like, especially since Ilia Topuria just moved up to 155. Islam clapped back hard on social media. Chasing hype and money is not the same as chasing greatness. An average athlete who got famous from trash talk won't understand. So sit back and watch how it's done. Double champ Chael. He wasn't done. He posted, "When you're tired of rolling around in front of bored crowds, give me a call. I've had fighters from your gym beg me for material." Then another post, "Your guy and his rival both use my lines to sound interesting." Then one more, "So don't fake beef with me for clout. Your hero? He's my student, so's his enemy. So are you." So far, Islam hasn't replied again. But wow, this feud is getting wild. Let's take a moment and break down some new UFC matchups coming up. First, Paul Craig vs Bruno Bilato is back on. It was pulled last minute from the Burns vs Morales card, but now it's been rescheduled for UFC Fight Night in Atlanta. Paul Craig shared the whole story on his podcast, Leathered.
So the fight's booked for 3 weeks on Saturday, and it's going to be in Atlanta, and it's going to be the same opponent. So that's like, I signed the contract today. I've started putting in all the paperwork for medicals and that kind of stuff. So this is like not even been released yet. So once we've got to hear this before we can do it anyway. So. Yeah.
Craig's looking to break a 3-fight losing streak. His most recent loss was to Bo Nickel. On the other hand, Bilato is coming off a majority draw against Jimmy Crute earlier this year. Also on the Atlanta card, Bill Algeo versus Ange Loosa. Algeo is trying to bounce back from his loss to Jake Matthews, while Loosa's trying to recover from a defeat to Gabriel Bonfim. It's a must-win for both. And for UFC Vegas 109 on August 9th, we've got Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Lucindo's 4-fight win streak was just snapped by Amanda Lemos in March, and now she's desperate to rebound. Angela Hill? She's looking to build momentum after a split decision win against Ketlin Souza. Both women need this fight. Sean O'Malley trains with Israel Adesanya. Fans react. So now let's talk about something that's got the MMA world buzzing. Sean O'Malley training with Israel Adesanya. O'Malley's prepping for his big rematch with Merab Dvalishvili, and this week he dropped a new YouTube video. In it, he's doing some light striking work with none other than Izzy. Sounds cool, right? Not everyone thinks so. Some fans questioned the logic, saying, why is O'Malley training with Izzy when Merab's a W wrestler, not a striker? Others said he should be grappling 24/7, not doing stand-up with one of the slickest strikers alive. This isn't gonna help. One fan even joked, you can't get more opposite from Merab than Izzy. This is like preparing for a hurricane by practicing for a snowstorm. Some couldn't help but comment on how jacked both guys looked. Sugar's looking like a lightweight, one wrote. Adesanya looks huge, you'd think he could move up again? But others were critical. Still dancing with his chin up. Hope he fixes his defense before fight night. The truth? After losing the last time around, O'Malley's got everything to prove. Let's see if this strategy works out for him. Nate Diaz replaced after fight breaks out on set. Jon Jones reacts now at this next story. Buckle up. Earlier this week, word broke that Nate Diaz got into a fight on the set of the Russian version of The Ultimate Fighter. A video shared by Jake Shields shows Nate getting physical with a fighter who previously tried to choke out Aljamain Sterling. Total chaos. After the dust settled, the show officially replaced Nate Diaz as coach. Jon Jones, who's currently coaching fighters in Thailand, was asked about the drama during his interview with Red Corner MMA.
One of our young fighters, a guy named Zadik, he was playing with Nate. You know, he wanted to fight with Nate, and Nate kind of came in a little bit on edge. I think he had some previous beef with some Russian fighters, so he was a little bit on edge when he got here. Fighting with Nate was not the best idea. It became serious right away, and we had to replace Nate.
While Jon didn't drag Nate, the real question is still this. Is Jon going to fight Tom Aspinall or retire for good? Michael Bisping chimed in during an episode of The Bonfire, and he didn't hold back.
But for Jon to not want to give this guy an opportunity, where other people gave him an opportunity, he was the youngest champion in this sport. And he's always talking about, oh, there's always going to be younger guys coming along. Well, what about when you were fighting for the belt and you were the youngest person to ever do it? You got that opportunity. And when you become the champion, there is an obligation to do that. So defend or vacate. It's that simple. And all these cryptic tweets and going out to Thailand and living his best life, great. If that's what you want to do, congratulations, go off, enjoy your life, but do the decent thing.
So far, Jon's still being vague about his future, but Dana White, he's still hopeful the Aspinall versus Jones fight happens, but hope might not be enough. Fans erupt over UFC 318, ticket prices plus Dana White under fire, and finally, let's talk about the outrage surrounding UFC 318 tickets, because fans are not having it. Pre-sale tickets went live and people were shocked. The cheapest seats, we're talking nosebleeds, were going for over $700, 0 cents, and that's before extra fees. Yup, almost $1,000, 0 cents just to sit in the rafters. The backlash was instant. Derek Brunson tweeted, better be Jon Jones vs Tom Aspinall with Islam vs Topuria as the co-main for those prices. Fans were furious, posting stories of empty sections in Miami where tickets were originally $750, 0 cents, but dropped to $400, 0 cents on fight day. Entire rows were nearly empty. One fan wrote, instead of filling the arena, they're chasing cash. It's not about the fans anymore. Another said, they lie about attendance. I'd rather pay $70, 0 cents for a PPV and sit on my couch. Some people even shared old ticket stubs, like paying $35, 0 cents for UFC 236, and compared them to today's $700, 0 cents pricing. The difference? Absolutely wild. Someone else said, it's not about us anymore, it's about celebrities and flexing for cameras. One fan added, imagine paying $700, 0 cents just to watch Victoria Dudakova in a co-main. The UFC has become what it once hated. The sentiment is loud and clear. The fans feel betrayed, and right now, Dana White is facing serious heat for it.